Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. I am back with a vengeance to this amazing place. So for those of you that may have followed my channel for a while now, you know that I've got a bit of history with the Seaham Wheels, the wheels at Seaham, and it's not good history, but fingers crossed this morning all that is about to change. So for those who don't know, I've been here to photograph the wheels 3 times in the past without any success whatsoever. Twice I travelled up from Yorkshire to be here, never saw the wheels, and once I was in the local vicinity, so I thought I'd try and conquer it and didn't see them. There's a few different reasons. One is I'm a muppet and I didn't do my research, and 2, if you do your research, you'll know the best time to photograph the Seaham Wheels is at a very, very low tide. If you are thinking about coming and photographing the Seaham Wheels yourself, don't bother coming here unless it's a very, very low tide. And if the low tide's at sunrise, because we're on the east coast, then that's all the better. One of the times I came here, I slipped on the rocks. There's a few rocks you got to clamber down. I slipped on the rocks, face planted, and broke my flaming camera. So when I say I've got history with this place, I'm not joking. And looking now as I'm walking, I've seen the wheels for the first time ever. They're behind me there. I think that was worth the effort. It was definitely worth the effort. But before we get going, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to photograph these wheels, only because of the light. You know, it's always the case. You check all the apps and they all tell you it's going to be a really nice sunrise, and that little gap in the clouds in the background there seems to be the only light that I'm going to get. Obviously I'm on the east coast, so out there we should have a fantastic sunrise, and it's thicker cloud. Quite windy, but I must admit we are fairly sheltered down here. That side, it's all about making the best of what you've got. Right, 10 minutes to go before sunrise, actual. Right, I've got a plan. So my first port of call is, I've got a long lens, 70 to 200mm lens. I need to get down nice and low, and if I can utilise this lens, it'll save me going into the sea. So that's my first plan of action. Next, I've got to come to the left-hand side for 2 reasons. One, it's to give the wheels more of a 45-degree angle look, so they'll sit nicer in the frame. But 2 is because the sun is coming up over to my right-hand side. Right, let's see what we can do. Right, so the sun has come up now. I closed the aperture to f22 to see if I can get a starburst, but the light or the sun is just being diffused by so many clouds on the horizon, so the starburst didn't work. So what I'm trying to do now is portrait orientation, zooming in nice and tight, but I'm shooting slightly to the left-hand side of that direct sunlight. And the reason why I'm doing that is so I still get the nice orange glow of the sky, but without the hot spot that the sun would cause. And it's looking quite nice. At the moment on the horizon there's a ship that's sitting to the right hand side, so that's making for a very nice background bit of interest. So wheels on the bottom left hand side, and that ship, the silhouetted ship on that orange sky on the right hand side, and that looks rather nice. There's a couple of boulders from this angle that sits in front of the rock. In post-production I'll probably clean them up and lose them all together, but yeah, that's looking really nice. I think I'm going to throw my 6-stop filter on there and extend that shutter speed and flatten that water out. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. That's looking quite good. I shot that at f/16/30 second exposure, ISO 100. Again, composition exactly the same, but it's just changed the properties of the water and it looks really, really nice. So before I venture slightly closer, I'm going to take a similar shot that I took earlier. That sun at the moment, as much as it's a hot spot, isn't too bad. Like I say, the sun is behind the clouds, so there's a lot of diffusion going on there. So I might have a tiny little hot spot, but as long as 99.9% of all that detail is still in the image, then that's good enough for me. And the tide is starting to come in, so I've got my timing absolutely spot on. I want to get my wider angle lens on and go out into the sea and try and get a much closer shot of the wheels, but the tide is coming in and the waves are starting to pick up, and you can probably hear it on this microphone, but it is blowing a bit of a holy. That's cool, quite minimalistic that. I like that, it's good. I'm working with NiSi filters next month. It's this particular date if you're interested. I'm taking up to 10 of you guys along to the seaside, weather and conditions permitting of course, whereby I'll be demonstrating how I go about taking all sorts of different types of imagery at the seaside using a whole range of NiSi filters. If anybody would like to book a place or find out more information on that date, then I'll leave a link down below. The cost, by the way, is just £25. It's not bad. Very heavily subsidised by my friends at NiSi. So of course thanks to NiSi, and hopefully I might see some of you guys there. Now with the tide coming in and the loss of light, I'm guessing I'm probably too late for what I'm about to try, but as always there's no pain without gain. I've got my wider angle lens on and I'm going to see how far out I can venture and see if I can grab a much closer shot of these wheels. I'm guessing these rocks are going to be mighty slippery, but I'm not sure how deep this water is going to get. It's always a bit unnerving when you can't see the floor. So I've not gone very far at all, and the water's already up the top of my wellies, in which case when a wave comes in like now, it's probably going to go over my wellies. So unfortunately I can't venture out any further than where I currently am. So let's see if I can get an anchor point here with these legs and grab a shot from here. See what it looks like. Camera, tripod on all. Tripod legs on rocks. That's looking good. Oh no. Oh, wet, wet, wet toes already, wet toes. Right, I don't think I'm going to gain anything by doing this. put your waterproofs on the outside of your wellies. You can sometimes pinch a little bit extra. Water protection. Like that. Right, okay. Now, I'm not going to gain anything from that. 16 to 35mm lens from here. Complete waste of time. I might throw my 70 to 200mm lens on the front of the camera and try and get some real close-up arty shots and see if that'll work. Damn. Right. One last effort. Let's just see if I can maybe shoot some long exposures directly at the wheels. If they're visible, just no light to talk of, and I mean no light to talk of. But let's see if we can do something that we can classify as art. Ooh, that's nice. And if I just catch that tide time right, that could be rather nice. So I'm going to go for a real minimalistic feel. I'm raising that camera up, placing the wheels on the bottom third, and they're going to be there on their own. I'm going to reduce my ISO down to 50, which will help me extend that shutter speed, and I'm going to close my aperture all the way to f18. That's the best I can get. 3.2 seconds. Zoom in, let's get a focus on those wheels, 2 seconds, and boom. And if I catch that right with the tides and the waves, that I'm going to end up with a really cool, minimalistic image. Now we're really losing those wheels now to the waves. Take that shot 1-2, and hopefully we'll grab that before the other wave crashes over it. Minimalistic, I think that looks quite nice. Right, so one last shot. Get my 6-stop filter back on, and let's extend that shutter speed out to about 30 seconds. Really flatten that water. Right, so the aim of today then was to arrive and conquer. I think I've done that, and for the first time in 4 visits, I've actually seen the wheels. They're quite impressive in some eerie kind of way. They're very impressive things. Like I said earlier, the best image in the world, I don't think I captured today, but a good image to document my time here is really all I wanted. So fingers crossed I'll have 1 or 2 half decent images.